Yeah, that's girls. Hard work.
You're listening to the Chartographers.
The Chartographers! It is that music-loving podcast for music-loving people where we take all the albums and rank them and shit. That's what we do. But hey, guess what? It's the Happy Hour Minisode where we are a little bit drunk and we are going to talk about whatever the fuck we want to talk about in relation to Led Zeppelin. I'm not sure if you've heard the previous two episodes. We ranked all the albums of Led Zeppelin in a completely agreeable order that no one's going to disagree with ever at any point in history. And of course, right now, it is me, Evan Sadi, it is Taran O'Reilly, it is our special guest, Phil O'Reilly, of the band Phantom Roar, upcoming EP on iTunes. And we talked about so much stuff in terms of Zepp, in terms of all the other things, and we're going to get into all the excess ephemera and stories and tales and live stuff and so much more. But before we do anything, we need to talk about the thing that we talk about at the top of every Happy Hour Minisode, which is, of course, guys, what's the worst Led Zeppelin song? Doggy.
And you can't say Bonzo's Montreal.
Fuck.
Too easy of an answer.
Stairway to Heaven. I have to say, it's kind of a... No, just kidding.
That's cute.
I know. I know what Taran's number one is. That kind of goes to that side.
Well, it's Hats Off to Roy Harper.
Yeah.
Listen to the part one, and to hear me rant about Hats Off to Roy Harper. Part one of our ranking podcast. But it's honestly
tied with Dear Maker.
See, Dear Maker, I don't have any reason to listen to, but it's not like crap.
Yeah.
No. It's white guys doing a poor reggae imitation.
Yeah.
So like I
wanted to be in Bob Marley and the Wailers, and they weren't. Yeah.
Honestly, like more than any other artist we've done, there aren't a ton of options for because they do like boring blues.
Right.
Or they
see, like, one of my picks, in all honesty, and I mean this truly, might be Moby Dick, because that is a song that is purely designed to be played live, and only live. Like, it's designed for that drum solo.
Right, like,
so on an album, like, it doesn't have as much, like, pull or zest, or, like, even...
Sure.
I would agree. On an album, there's no reason to do a 2-minute drum solo.
Right, exactly.
Much less a 4-minute drum solo, which is what it really is.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
there's
and
don't get me wrong, guitar riffs in there.
Listen, Bonzo's really good. There's no denying that. But it just
the studio version doesn't even begin to showcase
it's
that.
Just wankery. It's just pure wankery.
Yeah.
You know, that's
the only reason I wouldn't say it is because I love the guitar riffs on it. Save it for me from being the worst.
Yeah. So what would you say is the worst?
Well, when I say my favorite of leasts.
This is good audio, by the way.
Thanks. And I'm leaning into the mic.
This is what leaning into the mic sounds like.
If we can count on can we count In Through the Outdoors one giant shitty song? No.
I mean,
listen, if you want to go with All of My Love, there is legitimate reasons for that, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna. Well, if you said hats off to Roy Harper, right?
Yeah.
So I'll go with All My Love then.
Okay, good.
Right.
We have a nice splay of songs right there.
Yeah.
I think that's good. The other thing we want to do, because listen, as we told guests before, every time a guest comes on here, a little bit behind the scenes sneakeroo right over here. We always tell them, don't come in with the fucking list of the albums ranked in mind, because that's not fun. And also, we're gonna have debates, and also if your number one pick gets picked last, you're kind of screwed, aren't you, buddy? So the thing is, but that being said, Phil, once he got the assignment, once he said like, hey, dude, guess what? You're the guest. He actually did come together and put a list together to help. We want to see how closely it matched up to the final ranking. The final ranking, do listen to the rest of the podcast to hear it. But go ahead, unleash, if you will, the list.
The list. Okay, so
our number ones were the same.
Number ones were the same. Number 2 was 2.
Oh, okay.
3 was Houses.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
4 was 1. 5 was 3. 6 was Physical Graffiti.
All right.
7 was Presence. 8 Coda. 9 In Through the Outdoor.
Okay. So there's some shuffling.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Nothing moved more than 2 spaces, though.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So it was
I
close,
like
but...
they had Led Zeppelin, the first one, up closer to the top. I thought that was a smart move. I thought that was a really good...
Right, but then I listened to Physical Graffiti again on the way here, and it was like...
Guys, here's the thing.
Guys, there's a song called Kashmir.
I'm not sure if you heard it. It's kind of great.
Guys, there's this song called The Rover.
Yeah, guys.
Guys, there's a song called Night Flight.
And then
doing your Pippin voice.
and then Evan's defense is there's also a song called Boogie with Stew.
Yeah.
Which is why.
Yeah.
Which I feel like should be a Campbell's soup jingle.
Yeah.
But,
should maybe should have been nominated for worst Led Zeppelin song.
I was gonna say it, but All of My Love is just disgusting. So
let's
an abomination.
Can we talk about abomination? Can we talk about the mudshark real quick? Can we talk about that?
You want to talk about that so badly, don't you?
Because listen, I joked about it at the start. Legitimately, the infamous story is that in 1968-69 in Portland, the band was doing a show, part of this Seattle concert series or whatever, and they were in a hotel room, and of course they were infamous for trashing hotels. That's what they did. And one of the apparently there was a groupie that was up there, and there's stories of them going to the at the Hyatt in the Los Angeles.
You mean groupie, right?
Groupie.
You said droopy.
Oh no! I'd rather suck the dick of the band. No. That's Droopy Dog is very different from groupies. But the other thing is that because at the Hyatt in Los Angeles, they turn it into the riot room because apparently they had slip and slides in the hallways.
Yeah, the riot house.
The riot house, right? Exactly. And but apparently in Seattle there was this. They had went out fishing earlier in the day. And apparently they caught a fish, and there was some promiscuous groupie up there, and they're fraying the phrase that was uttered as, "Do you want a red snapper in your red snapper?" And apparently this is what happened. But apparently this is
vagina.
But yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But the thing is,
I wasn't sure. Thanks for
multiple
clarifying.
people have said this actually, even though it's attributed to Led Zeppelin, it's not Led Zeppelin. Although they were in the same hotel, the band Vanilla Fudge was responsible because they were playing the same festival that Led Zeppelin was. They had the extremely loose and promiscuous and C-inclined groupie that was there.
C-inclined groupie.
And basically what it is that they
Mom, turn it off at this part.
They legitimately Led Zeppelin came into the hotel room. They saw what was going on. They're like, "Wow, that's fucking disgusting," and left. But they were aware of it at the time, although a lot of people still attribute it. And the band and Vanilla Fudge have all confirmed it was Vanilla Fudge that was responsible for that. I just want to clear up the most infamous Led Zeppelin rumor of all time. Aren't you glad we did that? I'm glad. Listen, there's people that come here and they leave us so much knowledge.
I'm glad that's what we opened with our happy hour. Was let's talk about a fish and a vagina.
A vagina.
A vagina.
So Kashmir. So guys, listen. The other thing we want to talk about, Phil, with his knowledge and his insight. He knows all the Led Zeppelin live shows, and live Led Zeppelin is a different experience. Not live off of The Song Remains the Same Led Zeppelin.
No, but other...
What would you say is the if there are listeners to this podcast right now, they needed to get a bootleg, what is the number one bootleg you would recommend for them? I'm putting them on the spot, and I don't care, I don't give a shit!
Okay.
Because I'm probably going to get it too, so...
Bootlegs. I really like... See, now, with bootleg, you just have to know that you're going in with some crappy quality. But the one bootleg that I really like is from their U.S. 1977 tour. It's called Led Zeppelin Destroyer. And I assume it's referencing the Kiss record that came out at a similar time. But it's a great showcase of a few things. It closes with an awesome version of Trampled Underfoot. Nice. It's got a really cool... thing that since Page in the 77 they stopped playing Dazed and Confused live, he would do just a straight up guitar solo for about 10 to infinity minutes, and it's got really great violin bow solo, and it goes into a really great version of Achilles' Last Stand. So if you want to hear Achilles' Last Stand in a really great live setting, Led Zeppelin Destroyer is a great bootleg. There was another one, but of course I can't remember. 1975 tour, I believe it's called Haven't We Met Somewhere Before. It's 14 tracks and over 3 hours long. So every song, it has a half-hour version of Moby Dick. It has a 25-minute version of No Quarter. It has a 35-minute version of Dazed and Confused. I mean, if you want to talk extended live jams, that's another great bootleg to get. I would also get How the West Was Won. That's an actual release.
In 2003.
In 2003 that they... that, in my opinion, showcases way better than Song Remains the Same. It's 1972. In fact, they reference new songs off their new record, which was Houses of the Holy. So it's like fresh Houses of the Holy songs.
Nice.
It's got the acoustic set in it. It opens with Immigrant Song. And, I mean, again, we talked about heavy. I mean, it is the heaviest version of Immigrant Song I've ever heard. It opens with that. It goes into a 7-minute version of Heartbreaker.
Okay.
Which is pretty great. I mean, he throws in some really cool classical licks in there that are fun. It's just a great record. 25-minute version of Dazed and Confused with parts of Walter's Walk and parts of the Crunge included in the Crunge. So some funk breakdowns in the middle.
Yeah. That went on to become the best-selling concert DVD of all time. How the West Was Won, by the way.
Yes. Stairway to Heaven was new, so it's actually early in the set, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Before the encores, the closer is a 23-minute version of Whole Lotta Love that, by the way, Led Zeppelin's not paying me to pitch their releases. I'm just
here's the thing about Led Zeppelin, though. I don't think they have to, but they have enough money.
Right, yeah.
A lot of money.
I wish they were paying me. I would pitch their releases. But anyways, one thing that was cool about Whole Lotta Love is that they would take old blues and rock songs and throw it in as a medley. So they start with Whole Lotta Love, they go up to the theremin solo, the guitar solo, do one more chorus, and then pick up like Boogie Chillin' by I think that's
my rap name, actually.
That's a John Lee Hooker song. They go into Elvis songs, and they do all of these songs and different snippets of it. Then it goes back to way down inside, and then rips back into that to close out the set, and it's great. It's great.
It's also interesting, though, because they actually revolutionized several different industries all at once. One, in the concert industry, they'd never had openers. They were just like, listen, our live shows are fucking long and epic. Why would we have an opener? They just never had openers. They once they got in a position of power where they could do that, they made sure of that.
That's attributed to Peter Grant a lot. I mean,
and for the record, their manager Peter Grant is a crazy person, but also shrewd as fuck. Like most concerts at the time, especially in the late 60s, early 70s, a band would perform, they would get 60-70% of the ticket receipt profits. They would do that. Peter, he dove the fuck in.
85-90 minimum.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, and also all of merch. And
right, exactly.
Also, if you don't like it, I guess Led Zeppelin won't play your stadium then. Sorry.
Which is funny because 10% sounds like a, paltry amount, but when it's 10% of Led Zeppelin ticket sales,
that's still
you're still going to make enough. You're still going to make enough to keep the lights on. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you're going to wake up and buy yourself a dollar and a new teddy bear. It's all good. But the other thing, is that
we're doing voices now. Is that what the Minisode? Are we doing voices?
Yes, that is exactly what the Minisode is.
Funny story. I don't know how. Again, you fact check me on it with this, but Led Zeppelin was offered a slot at Woodstock, told that Peter Grant said, I don't want them playing because they'll just, unless they headline, that My Boys Only headline, there'll just be another name on a bill. I think that would have been amazing.
Except here's the thing, I don't know about that story because I remember it was 1969, I want to say. They were offered $250,000 to play something. It was like the fucking Patriots Bowl or some other fucking weird Super Bowl Super Bowl-esque halftime event, and they turned it down because they were invited to play the 1970 Bath Festival in England, and that was a big deal because they shared a bill with like Fleetwood Mac and a whole bunch of other people at the time, and they cared about that because the British press didn't give a shit about them, and for them to become like the third or fourth top billed item over there, that was more important to them because they were finally being accepted over in their native land. Because American audiences dug the fuck out of Led Zeppelin and what they were doing.
True.
British audiences were like, again, you're just ripping off Jeff Beck. Why would anyone give a shit? So that was interesting that that was a little bit, acceptance was always important to them. But again, they also got really spurned by the reviews of like Led Zeppelin 3. Like that was really a big turnoff to them.
It was so odd to me to be like, when I was doing research this week, all 3 of their first records got like really mixed reviews, which like in hindsight is just insane. But I think it's also it's
telling.
It's telling, but it's also it makes sense because they really didn't sound like much else. Like obviously they were doing the blues covers, but they were doing them in this like new screeching rock way, and so I feel like a lot of music critics didn't know what to do with them. And then when they actually like spawned genres with their work later, when like there were some critics who like totally revised their opinions and they were like, this is one of my favorite albums of all time, but I gave it a 3 out of 5 in 1971.
But like Led Zeppelin 4 also shut a lot of those people up. Because,
exactly.
Like, you couldn't fucking deny that. Yeah.
Here's another thing. So I brought 2 different books. I brought a book that was all about the songs behind, or the stories behind every song, or the song behind every stories.
The Phil O'Reilly story.
Yes, yeah. And then I brought another book called The Concert File, which is it's insanely detailed. It gives nearly every Led Zeppelin show, the set list they played, stories about it, but it also gives bootleg CD references in it.
Wow. Okay.
For nearly every show, which is so funny that like nearly every show, they even mention TV appearances in the book. Like, I mean, I guess
they
I
didn't
kind
do
of,
a lot. They did a
I
few
guess I
early
kind
in
of
the
care
day,
about that. But then some of them are like, this was a non-playing appearance, but Paige showed up at a party, and they like put it in there for some reason. Like
Stockward.
Yeah. So what I wanted to talk about is if you want to hear about some of the best live shows. 1975 in May, they played 4 shows at the Earl's Court Arena in London. These shows were some of their longest. One show peaking at over 4 hours. The set list is just like, it's all the great Led Zeppelin songs you want, plus really great cuts from, again, they're not paying me to say this, but really great cuts off of Physical Graffiti. What I was getting at is that another thing that was great about Led Zeppelin is that you'd pay the same price to see the Rolling Stones that you would pay to see Led Zeppelin, and yet Led Zeppelin played for minimum 2.5 hours to up to 4 hours, like these Earl's Court shows. Stones played for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So you get your money's worth with Zeppelin.
But with the Stones, you got to see Mick Jagger hump a giant inflatable cock in the middle of the stage. So that's a thing that happened.
Speaking of humping,
you've been waiting to say that for a while, haven't you?
No.
Speaking of humping, the Taran O'Reilly story.
Evan sent me a couple photos earlier today. I was mentioning to Phil off mic earlier that one of the like most famous photos of Led Zeppelin is all 4 of them leaning up against a plane, and none of them are wearing underwear, and they all have really tight pants on.
The Starship it was called.
Yeah, the Starship. So it's just
Jefferson
like
Starship.
You just see like 4 dicks and 8 balls. Like they're wearing pants, but
Like
it is
tight.
not.
Also, the
Tight
Taran
pants.
O'Reilly story.
It is not like they aren't hiding anything. It's kind of ridiculous, and it's also like pretty obvious. Like they knew they were getting their photos taken, so they like posed their dicks.
Yeah.
Like they are very.
Don't you?
Explicitly
when you get
placed.
your But the
But the thing is, like, they made no bones about their Lotharioism, like, at all.
I mean, right, half of their songs are about fucking.
Right, but then also, at the same time, their hedonism was also acclaimed, too, because there was I was watching a Led Zeppelin documentary for Research Week, and it was one of the members of the road crew talked about how they were going off to pay off the hotel clerk at the end of the day. And this is one of those days when it was Vanilla Fudge was like on the opposite end of the top floor of the Hyatt, and they had taken a TV out of their room, taken it to their side of the hotel on the top floor, thrown it out the window, and like had beat shit up earlier. And they didn't matter because literally at the end of the day, the manager, he's just paying off the stuff. And one of the hotel managers like, well, you broke this, and you broke down this door, and this TV is gone. And he's like, they're paying it off. He's like, whatever, just give us the bill. He's like, why are you so mad, dude? And the hotel clerk was like, it's just upsetting for me. I worked. You didn't want to know how badly I want to go ahead and just destroy some of this shit over here. The fact that you guys just get to do it is just upsetting. And I guess like at the time the manager was like, It's like, well, we got, 15 minutes? Find a room and bill us. And, like, had this little clerk, like, go up there and beat the shit out of her room.
Isn't it nice to be a super rich rock star?
Right.
That's
oh,
amazing.
my God.
I mean, yeah, if I had, like, hundreds of millions of dollars, I would probably do that, too. It's like, what? This is going to cost me, like, $400 or something for you to...
whatever.
Like,
fuck it.
go
do
track
it.
the room. It's fine.
But the other thing about Peter Grant that's interesting, though, is that he was also fiercely aligned with the band on their desires, too. The biggest thing is, do you ever look up, like, the singles that they released and the chart positions that they had? They amount to next to nothing because Led Zeppelin hated fucking releasing singles. They were very much of the mindset
very minimum.
Right, because they're like, you know what,
singles.
listen, I understand that some kids, they're not going to know about the album unless they hear, like, ooh, here's a little piece of ear candy on the top 40 radio, because I'm British. But the thing is that, like, they wanted the album to be experienced as an album outright.
Which makes total sense.
Right, and they hewed to that really hard.
I mean, can you imagine putting, like, a song like Stairway to Heaven as a single? I mean, that would, to me, that just ruins... the appeal of it.
And that leads to another revolution that you talk about what they did to the concert industry. For in the 70s especially, AM radio was such a big proponent. And there's this thing that they call, and you probably see the abbreviations of AOR, which is basically album-oriented rock. And album-oriented rock is exactly what that was, where basically some DJs would play either an entire song or like an entire album all the way straight through. Like Fleetwood Mac Rumor comes out, there's nothing but hits on that. Why wouldn't you play that straight through?
I mean, they
the
played every song on that album.
Exactly. And for Led Zeppelin, too, like, again, Stairway to Heaven never released it on a single, but radio DJs, they heard that, and they blasted that 8-minute motherfucker time and time and time and time.
Well, there's
again.
actually a story that when it came out, it being Led Zeppelin 4, Stairway to Heaven, that nobody's heard it before. It's like, oh my gosh, this is so revolutionary. A radio station in England played it on a loop for 24 hours. Mm-hmm. At 8, so whatever the math is on that, dozens of times.
Yeah.
I mean, which I've...
Hundreds, probably.
Dozens to hundreds of times.
Thanks, Taran. I can't read and I can't do math, but I know a lot about Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Talking about the Starship, one thing I thought was interesting is, when I say the Starship, I mean their plane.
Or their Jefferson Starship.
We
built this city!
Fuck off.
That's Starship.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Jefferson.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
That's one of those Jefferson airplanes I kept hearing about.
Stay tuned for episode 300 when you do Starship records.
No, when we do Jefferson Airplane / Jefferson Starship / Starship.
Right. Yeah.
/ Grace Slick's regrettable solo career.
Yeah. Yeah.
Surreal Sick Pillow. What
was that? We're only supposed to talk about Led Zeppelin, right? Okay, Starship. No, I got it. It's the Minisode. I got it. Starship. The point I was making is that Starship had on it. It had a full organ and keyboard for John Paul Jones to practice with, because that's just something that makes sense to put on an airplane.
Why wouldn't you?
Of course.
When you're millionaires, yeah.
Right. I mean, when you have jet engines.
Why not?
What's an organ?
Right.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
So let's also talk about the other important thing, which I think is worth talking about: Led Zeppelin reunions.
Yes.
The thing is that they've happened a few more times than people would necessarily think.
Yep.
One time, if I'm not mistaken, was 1985. I think it was like Live Aid or something.
Yes,
like that.
Live Aid. It was one of the big selling points of Live Aid was the fact they were going to come together.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah,
but
and they admitted like they were rusty.
It's awful. I mean, it's Plant's voice is just like the whole time.
Oh.
Phil Collins
is the drummer.
Filled in, no pun intended, for Bonzo, which
good one, Phil.
Phil, right? I know it's just Phil everywhere. Which is the title of my upcoming musical.
Drum Phil.
It's Phil everywhere, but Phil Collins, John Bonham, not so much.
I mean, listen, that being said, we did a Phil Collins episode. Phil Collins is a great drummer. I'm not sure necessarily the drummer for Led Zeppelin.
Right.
He's more of a jazz drummer than he is.
So, reunions, you're talking about 1985.
There was that other one,
95, I think it was.
Yeah, and it was for... No. Is that... You're thinking about the MTV Unplugged one? I was thinking about they did another one. It was the three of them. It was for the Atlantic Records 40th anniversary. They did it for a concert there.
Yeah, in like 88 or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
and during that time, it was fine and all, except for the fact that John Paul Jones' keyboards weren't on the television feed at all.
Really?
So that was another one where, like, the thing is that they get together. This is the second time they've gotten together, and it still goes to shit. And it's like, fucking hell, guys, what are we doing?
Right. Well, 1995 was the one I'm thinking of as the Rock Hall induction.
Yes.
That's when they were. That's when they were inducted
but
into
then
the Rock Hall.
the shade. Oh, the shade that Paul and Page and Plant threw towards John Paul. With
the unleaded.
Yeah. Because when Unleaded, the MTV Unplugged, whatever No Quarter compilation that they did, John Paul Jones wasn't invited for that shit. He only found out about that because it got released.
And he kind of throws the shade back a little bit in his acceptance speech for the Rock Hall. He says, thanks to my friends for this time remembering my phone number. Yeah. And which I know, right? That's quiet British man for like F you.
And if you look at the footage, Page and Plant are like,
oh, thanks, man.
Like they're so.
I mean, they kind of deserve it.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of a dick.
Small side note about the 1995 Rock Hall induction. Led Zeppelin, Neil Young, and the Allman Brothers Band. Those are some pretty big names all in the same year. But anyways, that's.
But that being said, let's also then flash forward again to, I believe, 2007.
2007, which is they're successful. Yeah.
When Ahmed, it was a tribute concert to him.
He had died that year, or the year before.
They did have an opening act for that day. For whatever reason, fucking Journey opened for them. Journey, not Steve Perry, but the new vocalist, whoever they have, who sounds like Steve Perry. But then they did a full-blown, 2.5 hour concert?
Yeah, it's about 2 hours, yeah.
Yeah, Celebration Day. And they got
which was released 5 years later.
Yes, they did,
But I will say, I mean, it is, other than the fact that they had to tune everything down a half step for Plant's voice, most of the songs, for Plant's voice. I mean, it is successful. It reminds everybody why Led Zeppelin is Led Zeppelin. They play at least.
It opens with Good Times, Bad Times.
They play at least one song off of every record, except through the Outdoor. If you watch our other two or listen to our other two episodes, you'll find out why they skipped that one. But they played at least one or two songs off of every album. So it's a great spanning set list. The set ender is this bombastic version of Kashmir. Yeah. They used Metallica's sound engineer for the show, which, if that's any indication of what the sound sounded like.
It sounded like sound.
It sounded like sound with sound. You're right.
So many catchphrases from this episode, guys.
Usually that's Evan. He's like, it's not an album. It's an album, but it's not an album.
But then Constantine did that same thing during the Daft Punk episode.
It's true.
But you want to talk about albums. Anyway, but the other thing about it, though, and on top of that, because Celebration Day was legitimately...
I love that concert. I know there's so much about it. I mean, it's just...
It's great, actually.
It opens with Jimmy Page looking like a freaking badass. He looks like a combination of like if Beethoven was a rock star. He's got like the long classical music hair with like the frilly like white shirt, comes out in overcoat, sunglasses.
It's like the villain from Interstellar.
And then by the time the third or fourth song, basically as he goes on, he gets sweatier and more undressed. So by the time Kashmir closes out the main set before the encores, he's like sweating and just.
Did they have to delay it by a couple of weeks because he got a finger injury at some point? I thought that was.
I think so. I had heard that, and then of course Jason Bonham, son of John Bonham, who better to fill in on drums?
But legitimately, like between that and also Ringo Starr's son Zach Starkey is also a pretty acclaimed drummer by himself.
Drums for the Who.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but also on top of it, though, the thing that's fascinating, they did this very successful reunion. A lot of people dug it, and there was rumors immediately afterwards, like, okay, so are they going to reunite and tour again? Because Led Zeppelin 2007, 2008 would just any arena you want. $1,000 a ticket, doesn't matter. You will sell out every single one.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen how successful. I mean, Stones escaped from the graveyard to tour, and Fleetwood Mac.
Also, their Escape from the Graveyard tour, great tour.
But Fleetwood Mac has done a couple really
with
successful,
Christine McVie back
really acclaimed tours recently too. And absolutely, if Zeppelin decided to tour again. It would
but
sell
they wouldn't, though, because Robert Plant refuses to. John Paul Jones, Jimmy Page, they said multiple times they would do it. Yeah, but Bonham's son absolutely would do it. And Plant is like, nah.
he said, I'm not a karaoke machine. I don't
Right.
want to do it, which is so funny because he does a lot of Led
doesn't wanna do
Zeppelin
the
covers
hits.
in his own
For
band.
when he's with Band of Joy, or
Right.
But then he did that fucking Alison Krauss album, Raising Sand, and that won the Grammy for Album of the Year.
Not
So
a
he's like,
karaoke machine, but you're gonna do 9 covers.
yeah. And
Taran's looking at me like it's my fault. Again, I'm not paid by Led Zeppelin to be here. But yeah, I agree. But I could also see too, like it would have been an amazing tour, but if you're going there to see Led Zeppelin 1970, you're not going to see Led Zeppelin 1970
No.
because
And
they're all older. They've all kind
James
of diminished.
Taylor still fills out fucking stadiums.
Exactly. The appeal of it would have been ridiculous. I mean, there were only 20,000 tickets available for the 2007 reunion concert at O2, and it broke they had to go off a lottery system. Mm-hmm. So and just to enter the lottery, not even guaranteed for tickets, the computer that the modems or whatever that they used to track all that crashed because so many people tried to get tickets for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because why wouldn't you? Because if you bought that, if you didn't want to go, if you wanted to sell your fucking ticket, you could put it up there for several $1,000s.
Pay off your mortgage with that one.
Yeah,
I mean,
you could buy a child with that money if you wanted to. That's crazy.
This just got dark, but anyways, yeah. But it's interesting in talking about Led Zeppelin reunion tours and stuff like that is that, I mean, they've also talked about other vocalists touring with Plant and Jones, and it just wouldn't be the same. I mean, even Plant in old age with having to tune down guitars and stuff, you can't call yourself Led Zeppelin without those 3 guys in it.
And I'm sorry, Miles Kennedy ain't cutting it. You want to talk about whoever that guy from Journey is that's can't cut it. Macy Gray, not cutting it. It just won't happen.
Macy Gray was up for it? I was going to say.
No.
Chris Cornell, I had heard, though, too, from Soundgarden was up for it.
I understand where they're coming from, but no.
Right, no, I know. I mean,
it's not the same.
And I love Miles Kennedy. Shout out to Alter Bridge. They're not paying me either, but I love them.
Oh, my God.
But they, I mean, that would not be... it wouldn't be the same, and any singer that would try and do that, would dare do that, they all know enough. Like Miles Kennedy, he actually got to jam with Jones and Page to kind of test that, and then at the end of it, he's like, guys, I just can't, it's sacred literature, I can't. You were gonna say something.
I was gonna say, now I really want to hear Macy Gray's Led Zeppelin cover album. But speaking
I want to see her immigrant song.
No, but speaking of cover albums, Train covered all of Led Zeppelin too.
That's right.
And
all right, well, it's been a pleasure, guys. Looks like we're out of time.
It's for some fucking reason, Evan decided to put a couple selections on while I forget even who we were hanging out with. It was just in the background, and it's not even it's not as bad as I was expecting it to be.
But
there's
no point.
There's no point because it's note for note covers. It's not
their interpretation.
It's not their interpretation. It's them just playing through Led Zeppelin 2. It really sounds very similar.
It's like your dad. It's like the dad. The dad middle-aged cover band. We're the rockin' dads or whatever. I was trying to think of a better name. But there are friggin' bands out there called the Rockin' Dads, right? You guys can use that one if you want to, all you middleaged dads out there.
It's just so funny because you took so long to get there.
I know, I tried to think of something better and it did not happen.
There's legitimately, for the record, a reggae cover band that does Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin, yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. There's also Les Zeppelin, the all-female. There's Zepparella, all-female. There's
also a Fred Zeppelin, my buddy Fred, who just does these songs on accordion on street corners. He's not very good.
Great. That probably would be better than the Macy Gray one.
Fair.
I've completely gone off the rails.
This has evolved.
I was going to make a point about covers or something, but... Yeah.
What's the best Led Zeppelin cover? Let's just toss that out there as the last one.
Ooh, best Led Zeppelin cover.
Because I'm legitimately curious.
Well, I
not
don't know.
Train.
You can't really count it as a cover. I would say you can't. I was gonna say Jimmy Page and the Black Crowes, but you can't. I don't know if you count that as a cover because he's playing on it.
Yeah.
It's the same guitarist.
If you want to look up a really great interpretations of those songs, Black Crowes are basically the 90s Zeppelin, just not nearly as popular or talented. But She Talks Names is a great song, guys. That first record's great, but we're not talking about that. Look up Jimmy Page and the Black Crowes live at the Greek Theater. They did a tour in 99 to 2000. It's really great. They do a mixture of Black Crowes songs, mostly Zeppelin stuff, and they're all like excited to be playing with Page. It's great.
Yeah. To
answer your question, I think it's a tie for me. I bought a tribute to Led Zeppelin. It's a tie for me between Blind Melon doing a cover of Out of the Tiles from Led Zeppelin 3 and Misty Mountain Hop covered by Four Non Blondes.
Oh, but I also want to toss out one other thing.
That sounds good.
It's great.
During the, I believe it was the Presidential Medal Freedom Honor thing, whatever the fuck that ceremony
is.
They do every year. Heart.
Oh, the Kennedy Center Honors.
Yeah, Kennedy Center Honors, thank you.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I mean, when Heart covers fucking Stairway to Heaven, that's just...
Well, okay, then we want to go in that too. Heart does a really killer version of rock and roll that, in my opinion... If I had to listen to one person sing Zeppelin that wasn't Plant, Ann Wilson.
Oh my god! Wait, can they just tour with Ann Wilson?
That's the problem. That's the solution right there.
Yeah, fucking.
You're welcome.
Jimmy Page, John Paul Jones,
Jason Bonham,
and
Ann Wilson.
Okay, so
I'd buy a ticket for that.
Oh my god!
Listen, Phil O'Reilly, I know you're not being paid by Led Zeppelin, but I want you to tell the people that aren't paying you that that's an idea that they should consider.
Guys, so up my paycheck, and you need to do this.
Fucking hire Ann Wilson.
Well, talking about that Kennedy Center Honors thing, another great cover off of that is Lenny Kravitz doing Whole Lotta Love was pretty rockin'. Pretty rockin'.
Really
I mean, I'm very picky about who does covers of what, because Kid Rock, for some reason, decided to, I don't know, maybe he was coming down off his meth high and decided
to show Boogie for Stu?
No, he did Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You and
No!
On. No! I know, it's terrible. But anyways...
That makes me, like, really upset.
Right,
actually.
It is. But what I'm getting at is that Plant has commonly said that he hates hearing people cover Stairway to Heaven. He hates listening to it, but he cried when he heard Ann Wilson and Ann and Nancy doing that, and then the choir coming in at the end. I mean, it was perfect.
Yeah.
So if even Plant, who says he hates people covering Stairway or really any Zeppelin, to answer your question that you asked 20 minutes ago, the best Led Zeppelin cover, I'm going to agree with you and say Ann and Nancy Wilson doing Stairway to Heaven.
At the Kennedy Center Honors, yeah.
But check out all the other ones I mentioned, too.
Right. But in the meantime, though, guys, thank you so much for listening. It's been me, Evan Sadi. It's been the incredible and wonderful Taran O'Reilly. It's been one of the guitarists and songwriters for Phantom Roar and also Rockin' Dads, Phil O'Reilly.
Yeah, Rockin' Dads.
What's the name of your debut album? I keep forgetting. What's the...
Check us out. What's the name of our Rockin' Dads one?
Debut? Yeah. I keep forgetting.
Album 1.
So daring and innovative.
You nailed it.
Almost as daring as Led Zeppelin 1.
Yeah.
Or 2, or
Rockin'
3,
Dads
or 4.
1 is what it is.
No, but for real, what's your band's gonna put out an EP?
We haven't named it yet.
Oh, okay.
But it's being mastered right now.
By Bob Ludwig.
But yeah.
And Steve Albini.
Steve Albini, yep.
It's kind of great.
I don't know why, but...
It just somehow they were drunk and they agreed to it. It was a thing.
Yeah, he's like, I've done in utero, I'll do this too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, though. You brought
Thank
so much
you.
knowledge.
I thought you were doing a fist bump.
There we
That's
go.
great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fist bumped. In the meantime, though, we talked about a lot of things. Again, I know you have a lot of other things you want to say, including disagreeing with our ranking, but I want you to do that on our Facebook page, facebook.com/thechartographers, thechartographers@gmail.com, the Chartographers on iTunes, the Chartographers on Stitcher, all the goddamn places. Keep listening
Google
to us.
Play,
share us,
etc.
Yeah, and also share this with your friends, because I want you to be like it's cool when people share it, and it's amazing to see it in terms of like, wow, this is a really cool podcast, or wow, listen to these fucking yokels right here. Like, come on,
these assholes,
these jerks talk about my Zep Zep. Also Zep Zep, the kids version, it's amazing. So you should listen to it.
I'm really not sure this big like Southern following that you keep doing about Led Zeppelin. Maybe it happened, but.
Yeah, Zep Zep.
Never mind. It's a mini-sode that
Royal Orleans. Let's get out there. In the meantime, thank you so much.
Is Zep Zep the name of the like all marimba like lullaby cover?
Yeah. There's actually legitimately a thing called Rockabye Baby.
Oh God. Because really, I'm not going to be happy until I hear a bedtime version of Immigrant Song. Okay, I just got to shut it down. All right, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for listening. You know the movie.
Adios. Really great cuts off of Physical Graffiti. There was a point of what I was trying to say here, but
we'll cut this later. It's all good.
You'll edit all this out in post, right?